25-year-old heat flashes.
Wait till you're 74.
Oh, boy.
Same.
I have been unsuccessful with catching up, correct?
Okay.
I will,
All right.
and as soon as I do, I will reach out.
I figured he'll be like anxious for it.
Oh, he will.
Yeah.
He was out of town, and then quite frankly, I've been busy this weekend,
Yeah.
not feeling the best, so.
Yeah, it's got just like brutal. I know a couple of places like this one, like with the whole COVID again.
Yeah. I don't think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Did you see the Tuesday or Wednesday, 163 kids out of middle school?
Well, so, I was fighting something for like 2 weeks, and then Tyler was homesick on Monday, and I'll be honest with you, I was like, is he faking it? You know, he was like overly sick.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and then Tuesday morning I came down.
Yeah.
I was like,
my
guess he wasn't
daughter
faking
had it. She still had it.
Yeah.
She was out Tuesday. She did one that was Tuesday, and then she went in late today.
Yeah.
She tried to go in yesterday. She went in late yesterday, and it was,
Yeah.
it's not good. Like they canceled her. She does the weight room,
Yeah.
soccer, right?
Yeah.
Well, they canceled all. They're like, there's so many kids sick.
Yeah.
Do not bring everybody to this building.
Yeah.
Take the rest of the week, all week of the weekend until next week, we'll do it again, right? Like they just put a kibosh on it. Cause so many kids are like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that, yeah, I know it was 2 weeks ago, exactly, at a meeting Thursday night. I'm not feeling that great. I got home, I had like chills, like, I woke up Friday morning. But it was like a day, I didn't get like cold or anything. And I went through and then, I got the Mount Penn meeting. Oh yeah, everyone's referral, in the hall, like the road crew all went out, the manager went out. Sort of like, cross our fingers like, something like that.
yeah,
Yeah, I know.
I know.
You all
Well, I'm
still
not-
sick.
I think like,
Yeah, they were away.
yeah, they were in UK. They were, it was so, she was so bad, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, luckily I was like, I was fine.
Have you got something for the planning meeting? Commission meeting, what do you think? Am I going to that meeting or not?
Well, part of it, I wanna ask them a lot, so, one of the things that I wanna talk about that I had added to
Because we checked we checked the boxes for them. To check them and see whether we check boxes, both boxes.
property owners and
But that would have been for the year before.
Yeah.
We would still need.
They've been in contact with me, Impact Engineering is quickly becoming. And I know this guy. So Jason Shaner called me.
I did it and I don't want to do it.
And he said, what do you think about this schoolhouse going on this property? And I said, well, let's see, it's 2 houses.
Tis the
He
season.
said, okay, he said, but you can allow a special exception. It's religious. I said, is it religious or is it beach?
It's a nice tie.
And he gave me all, I said,
Yeah.
Being
I said,
facetious.
No, I really like it.
Right.
I think you should spend all
That's
that.
one of those rules that's placed on the box.
If you
Yeah.
don't,
We'll make it
if we
busy.
don't land it in place with its own stuff, give it to the zoning officer.
Right.
And then compare the application to the zoning. A month or two went by, and the next thing I know, the zoning application comes in. Variance for second use on the property. And it's been- So it's one of the things I asked about here. And
First we're covered, like, hey, this has got some stuff, we're still asking for a variance for the second use.
right, so
Or we used to,
I don't know where we'll come down on that.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about this month, next month, with this data center stuff, some stuff I distribute tonight. I think once the planning commission call together. See what happens.
so I sent them, like, I think it was like, something about it or something, but it has to be here, here's a really long order, comprehensive. an ordinance and.
I came in this morning, I wanted to go down there for a call out
I
test.
said, let's just try to explain it in a relatively short email. I'm trying to, it's hard to explain in a meeting, but it's what it is, let me know if you have any questions. And she actually come back, she was very nice, like, thank you, whatever.
Now,
Like, just that.
it'll be 56 degrees.
Oh, no, it's gonna get warm now. It was 70.
They're very nice.
Just buy a hand bracelet, thinks you better go ahead and take it.
But ready for next winter.
But I think if they see things start to move. I think we're still.
Yeah, I forget about trying to explain it.
You keep changing, you see the weather forecast, going back and
It's always
forth.
on a Sunday too.
It was,
I'm not gonna write
it was 6 inches, then it was down to 1 to 2 or 1 to 3, and now I saw it again, it's up to 4 or 5 inches or something like that.
They don't know till the day before.
I was gonna say, we'll know. It was just like that one, it was supposed to be, like a dusting to 1 inch, and it ended up being like 5 inches, so.
But it's.
Or just say we're getting snow.
What's the burger?
Yeah, you go
it.
online,
Go into.
What's the
and
burger?
then it submits it to
Them
them
for
for
you.
you, and then emails you a copy of it.
See the weather map?
And you just type it all in.
So his legit job is he works for NASA.
Oh, wow.
This is the only one that kind
All
of
he
makes
does
real
is
sense,
studies
right?
snowfall.
Yeah.
I tried to read the
When
instructions.
snowstorms come,
Any
he's
interest
on an
within the
airplane.
Commonwealth
That's crazy.
agency
So you're saying it's got some of the world no longer has.
correct. And it's for the calendar year.
It's like a weatherman, right?
2025.
So if you
So
look
I hit
at,
no.
like NASA's
I didn't do any
programs
world
with
station
snow
transactions,
impacts,
period, in
his job is-
25.
his job works in
Well, like I
the
said, if you read,
runs
Phase
that.
1 power studies.
I didn't even know that was the thing.
Yeah, they like, they
Yeah,
study
this
like
addresses
even the
of any
flakes, like the way
property
the
which
flakes
is
are made,
is
just
actually
to tell you
within
how
the
much
even
snow
list it within the.
Also with
With
the
the
light,
lighter,
heavier
body
Yeah.
within,
Yeah.
so that's the kind of.
compacting.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
know.
no direct interest
Yeah,
in such a
snow.
problem. No, no, I didn't. It's calendar year.
Yeah. They cover yellow, so.
No, they, not yet,
Sorry, it's gray.
still researching that.
I have 7 o'clock. What say you, the public?
I have 7 o'clock as well.
Paula, what say you? Do you have a timepiece? Are you a 7 o'clock gal? Too late. I call the meeting to order. Ask you to please rise, say the pledge, remain standing for a moment of silence for our first responders and our men and women in harm's way. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. For those of you who follow along at the workshop meeting, I indicated that at some particular point, I'd like to do a little more than just that moment of silence and honor a specific, township resident. So we'll coordinate that. I have not heard any objection from any of my colleagues on the board. So we'll take that time. Having said that, we'll do a roll call. Mr. Rhodes.
Here.
Mr. Gullo.
Here.
Ms. Fix.
Here.
Mr. Steve.
Here?
And I'm here. Have any of you out there seen the agenda on the website? Anybody look at that agenda on the website or no? I did get a call that there were some issues, and we're gonna work on those issues. I'm gonna elaborate on those a little bit further. The specific call I got was with respect, and we've announced it several times, and we've published it in the newspaper, and that's that our meetings are the second and third Thursday. The website may reflect that a Tuesday meeting, which used to occur, but this board felt that it would be more efficient use of our time with the way the calendar fell. Occasionally, we would have a regular meeting a few days after a workshop. And then other times there would be a workshop 2 weeks before a regular meeting. So we felt this would be consistent. And nothing's etched in stone, but that's no excuse for us to have conflicting issues on the website, and we're gonna work to straighten that and a few others out. So having said that, I apologize on behalf of the board if there was any inconvenience, or somebody was tuning in and was very disappointed they didn't get to see us. We are broadcasting, as you're well, it's live streaming on YouTube. That'll continue throughout the entire meeting. There is an executive session, as I recall, planned. And I think that's going to be fairly lengthy, just alerting you guys to that effect, so you can plan accordingly. Having said that, I'll open the meeting for any citizens' concerns. I'd ask you to state your name and address, kind of for the record. Eventually, I wouldn't mind getting maybe a podium or something where you could come up and address the board and make sure you're heard, heard both on recording and otherwise. But for tonight, does anybody have any kind of comments by way of a public concern? Ma'am, you seem like you want to say something. Am I misreading you?
I'm deciding what I want to say.
Well, while you think about it, I'd encourage you to say whatever it is you would like. So while you think about it, does anybody else have anything to say? Okay. Well, now, ma'am, you're starting to run out of time.
That's okay. So my name is Molly Goslin. I live at 577 Cedar Hill Road, and I've been here a few times about the data center, mainly because of my proximity to where it is being proposed. But I know that there's been some progress on the data center ordinance. And that's kind of come back to the EAC, and then I believe the next step is Planning Commission in March, but I could be wrong on that. But I just wanted to say that regardless of what the status is on the data center on Cedar Hill Road, it's still important to put something like this in effect in case there's future proposed data centers in the township.
Okay, well, thank you for that. With respect to the data center, we have reviewed, we've got the recommendations of our environmental advisory agency. We reviewed that, our engineer has reviewed that, as he put it, from a preliminary standpoint. Our solicitor, I know, has looked at that. We've also looked at other ordinances from other townships, kind of combining it and to get the best product. Are you comfortable that you know the process?
I'm learning as I go.
Okay, well, the Planning Commission is an advisory body to us, and they see stuff before we vote on it. Sometimes they make recommendations, much like the EAC. And, we respect their opinion. Many have been there for a number of years. We have a new member this year. So it's a good thing to go, it's a necessary thing to go through that process. And I think that's set for March. Is that 3rd?
Yes, first Monday.
That's the second.
It's the second.
That would be the second.
Okay, so March 2nd, we probably, I don't know if somebody from the environmental agency is going to be presenting something, or not. If they're gonna be there, but I believe the ordinance has or will be sent to them.
Yes, so,
This is our engineer, by the way. You look like you've been here before.
Yes.
Okay, so this is our engineer, Ryan Road, and he's been assisting us. a
by
good
way
bit.
of update, this will be before your planning commission in March. And I put together, that I was gonna pass out later, many of our neighboring municipalities are working on something very similar. 2 of which are close to the finish line, and they are included in this packet. The current draft for Robeson, the latest one that I have is first. Then you'll see Carnarvon Berks has a draft, and Warwick Chester has a draft as well. So we will be sitting down with the planning commission and discussing this, and again, trying to come up with the best product to bring back to you. And I've spoken with many members of the EAC, they're all invited to that meeting as well.
Okay. Anything else?
So we can go on March 2nd?
Yes, those meetings are open to the public as well. They have not been as of yet live streamed, but it's something on my radar, as well as all the meetings. Part of the reason for that is there are a number of people, we're up to thousands of views at this point. And there are a number of people that, for whatever reason, I mean, it's a raining ugly night, can sit in their convenience of their home and watch, but they've seen primarily supervisors meetings, some reorganization, some budget. They've seen primarily our meetings. To kind of add to the informational process, personally, I think it'd be a good idea to, put all of those meetings. A lot of people don't know necessarily what a planning commission does, what a Parks and Rec does, and I think it would be good. So it's just, on the radar. Anything else? If not, we're gonna move through the agenda. We have a number of things. In terms of correspondence, I believe there are correspondence that not have necessarily been included, but I'll get to that in the future of the agenda as we progress through. So why don't we go to item Roman numeral 4, our police.
Thank you, Board. The first item I have on the agenda is the BAS continuation from February. I know Harold and I spoke about it a little bit. I think you said you had everybody in there.
Everybody's now enrolled,
We just have to figure
well,
out
the numbers part.
the numbers part.
Yeah.
Do you need
And I don't think that's a big deal, because I think we can add extra to it at any point. But I did try to contact somebody, and I've not got a contact, I'll have to call again, about what it would take to make that adjustment.
Okay. Do you need anything from us?
If I do, I'll let you know.
Okay. Thank you. The second, go ahead.
Give me more time,
Okay.
like 4 hours that day.
The second thing I have on the agenda is to discuss Detective Gottschall's pay. I've written something up here that I would like everybody to hear. So I would like to take a moment to speak about Detective Gottschall and the value he brings to this department. In my professional career, he stands as among the finest law enforcement officers that I have the privilege to work with, and I'm confident that the law enforcement officers in Berks County would agree. He comes to us from Exeter Township, which is the most sought-out township to work at in the county. There, he spent 22 years as a detective, 5 of which he spent as a supervisor, the sergeant detective of the squad. He retired from Exeter Township with 31 years of service. His depth of investigating knowledge, experience, and sound judgment constantly elevates the quality of work within our department. He is deeply committed to the growth of the department, and not only the department, the officers in it. He will sit with every officer in this department to not only teach what he knows, but to ensure that they truly understand the reason behind it and why it's done that way. One of the things he did here, he purchased his own computer and office equipment out of his own pocket, which was thousands of dollars when he came here. Most people don't know that Detective Gottschall started his career here, and this is where he wanted to end it. Not only did he purchase all of his own equipment, he also purchased the monitor, which you see all of the cameras up there. He gave myself and he gave the police admin speakers for Zoom free of charge. When we hired the new officers, the CAT cables in this building were broken and were not able to work. He came in here and he brought his own tools and equipment and fixed all that, so all the computers and everything's working in his phone. Never asked for anything for it. He led and organized the only comprehensive cleanup of the evidence room in compliance with all applicable laws and departmental regulations. And while doing that, not only did he do that, he taught the new evidence tech, which had 0 training before he took over the evidence room. That has never happened in Robeson Township. He also led the purge of Robeson Township's police department's records destruction. To my knowledge, that has never been done before, because we went back to, I believe, the 70s to destroy all of that. He is currently working on having all the firearms entered into NIBIN, which is the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network. Once the firearms are entered into NIBIN, it allows federal, state, and local law enforcement to link ballistic evidence from crime scenes and recovered firearms across the nation. Once the firearms are entered, the process for the firearms destruction will start. with him leading the process, and again, this police department has never done something like that. He has his work cut out for him because there's been guns that sat there forever. I can say that he was just offered a position at a police department that borders us, and that police department, the chief told me they offered him $10 an hour more than what he's being paid right now, to start with. I can't say enough good things about him. He is an amazing mentor for everybody here. He is a wealth of knowledge. I'm a strong believer that a lot of these things have not been done in the past because nobody knew how to do them. Things like that get done by people who have been on the job for a long time and not just done the job, but actually did the job and know how to do it. I think it would be wonderful if the board would consider a motion to give him the raise that we spoke about back in October at budget time, which would be $38 an hour. I can say with the $38 an hour, that was budgeted for 50 weeks. He won't be here for 50 weeks, so it's not gonna be exactly $57,000. I know he has 6 weeks vacation put in there already, so if he works his entire time, I think it comes out to $50,000.
Anything else? What else do we have?
You know, I'm gonna pause there. I believe Detective
Hold
Gottschall.
on a second.
You're not gonna stop me
No,
from making a
hold on a
motion.
second. I asked the officer
We're
if he
on
was chief, if he
B.
was done.
We're on B.
Well, I'm asking if he's done with his presentation.
Are you
Apparently
done?
he's- Well, no, I asked him that question.
No, I do. You're
Well,
no better
okay,
than
we can-
anybody at this
we can both-
table.
We can both ask the question. I asked him if he was done, if he would just be patient. If you could just be patient. Are you done with the statement on behalf of Mr. or
Gottschall.
Officer Gottschall?
I am chairman.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Gullo, you have a question?
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Question.
We'd like to keep and maintain some order here. The previous.
Only when
boards-
it matters to other people, or what?
No,
We
throughout
have,
the
we have
meeting,
correspondence
we'd like
that
we'd
says
like
none, but we have correspondence we'll bring up elsewhere. That's order.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a motion that we approve Detective Gottschall's pay raise effective immediately to $38 an hour as discussed in the October budget meeting, and that was budgeted into that amount. That amount was budgeted for that raise.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? I don't think we've,
I'll second that motion.
okay, now that we've had a second, Mr. Rhodes, apparently there's some concern with Robert's rules of order on your part. Now that we are really cognizant that we want to follow that, this would be a good time to discuss and deliberate on that. My own particular position, so we'll discuss the motion, is that I think he's a fine officer. I think just because something's budgeted, there seems to be a misconception because something's budgeted, particularly on your part, Mr. Gullo.
No, I'm stating the money.
Are you gonna let me
is in place.
finish?
You're gonna let me
No,
finish?
No, go ahead.
No, I'm done now.
Okay, there seems to be a misunderstanding, particularly on the part of Mr. Gullo, with respect to the budget. With respect to the budget process and what that actually means. So, in a government setting, when you have a budget, those numbers are indicators, but they're not etched in stone. And a lot of people think, oh, you have to follow that. Well, you don't. And part of the reason that you don't is in a budget, some particularly political organizations, governments if you will, say if you don't spend it every year, you won't get it next year. That's not true on behalf of this township. The second issue relating to budgets is not only if you don't spend it, you won't get it, but perhaps even worse, it's eliminated from the next year. None of that can happen here. So I'm not saying that he may not be the best worker, the hard worker. I heard all of what you said. However, there are growing concerns, financial concerns. You heard me last year or last week read off some of the salaries where we stand, and financially, this township is not where it needs to be. Now, rarely,
Your opinion.
Anything else to add, Mr. Rhodes?
No,
No, it's my opinion, that's
Yeah,
right, and I'm stating my opinion right now.
that's right. I
Okay.
was just
Do you-
making that statement.
Well, do you wanna wait till I'm finished, or do you wanna just interrupt?
Can you say?
No, go
anything
ahead.
Anytime I want?
You have it, you have the floor, go ahead, I'll finish
You don't-
then.
You're not over me. I can say anything, anytime I want. I made my
Well,
statement and that's it.
Not really,
You were
but,
not talking at the time. I
No,
said it
not
when you
really.
paused, so
well,
That's the way it
I
is.
really wasn't finished, but the second part of
move
that,
on.
the second part of that budget process is having to lose it from the next year. None of that's possible here. Now, I rarely comment on adjoining townships or other townships. But one of the things that I contemplated as the new year unfolded had to do with opening the budget, because our budget is, in my opinion, deficient and concerning. I chose not to do that or request the board to do that for a variety of reasons.
Did the budget
but-
change from what we approved?
You're interrupting again, Mr.
Yes,
Green.
I am.
Okay,
I have a question. Did the budget change from what was approved last year, line item or numbers?
you're
Or
you're
labels.
asking the treasurer, you're asking me, who you asking?
I'm asking whoever wants to answer my
Does
question.
anybody want to answer?
The budget that we
On the board.
approved last, in 2025, does the budget today look exactly the same?
Does anybody have a copy of the budget with them? We can stop the meeting and examine that if you'd like.
It's in the back of your
Are
book.
are you asking, is the budget that was approved in December the same one that's posted on our website as our?
No,
official
the
budget?
one we're operating off of today, or was anything changed? Line items, labels, or amounts?
There were some line items added.
How do you add that to a budget that was approved?
You add it because there's a uniform allowance, and each officer was given a line item within that subsection.
Now, are we talking
How do
about
we
the,
amend a budget?
now, are we talking about the police section of the budget?
I'm
Let's be
talking about
specific.
the whole budget.
Okay, so the question becomes, how is a budget amended? Well,
You have to open it up.
But we just
Well-
stated we didn't open it up, but now
No,
we're stating
I-
we
I-
amended a budget.
I chose,
We didn't amend the budget, we added a couple of line items, sub-line items within the budget.
so within the budget that was approved, you kind of broke it out, and maybe for clarification purposes,
As we are contractually obligated.
Did numbers change or
No.
or labels of line items change?
No,
Titles,
no, the subsections under that under that section.
that's acceptable?
Yeah, you're talking about my bookkeeping, so I think.
No, then that's fine.
The-
I understand that.
There's X amount for uniform allowance.
You can
That's
break
the
it.
same thing, but it's then that divided by, each officer to have their each.
I just was questioning if anything was changed, that's all.
Now, the one thing that is gonna be very, very apparent really soon is the amount of money that was budgeted for salt has far exceeded what was budgeted.
meaning our salt expenditures due to the storms have exceeded what our budget is. That's why it is a budget, and we're gonna have to pay that. It's just a calculated or educated guess, not a requirement. It's not a requirement that we give anybody a raise. Now, I started to say something before I was interrupted. I started to say something about neighboring townships and my reluctance to comment. But Exeter opened its budget, and Exeter realizes, apparently, if you are following that, that they had some concerns with their cash flow, that's my words, and that they cut back on some positions, and I don't know if it was eliminated raises, et cetera. So I believe that this should be tabled and considered next month. That's my belief. I'd like to examine the budget a little bit further, and kind of project out where we'll be at the end of the year, because I do have some concerns. I think we're gonna have something remaining, but I've got some concerns. For those of you who are not aware, we are short-staffed, in the office, and, we're doing the best that we can do. So having said that,
No current job opportunities.
okay, now, hold on a second. we're talking about this raise, and I'm in favor, there's a motion and there's a second, we'll take a vote shortly. I'd like to see us table that till next month, examine a little further, acknowledging he does do fine work. And we thank him for that work. So that's my comments on that. So we have a motion and a second. Does anybody else, any other discussion on the board before I call for a vote?
You mentioned he had an offer,
Mhm.
so if this doesn't go through, you're saying he's gone, or you're not sure?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So if we tabled it till next month, it's,
It is what it is.
yeah.
Well, let me suggest this, Officer Godshall, if you're out there in YouTube land, I always encourage people to make their best deal and if money's an issue and that's what he thinks, I really think he should, make his best move. Wait and see what we do, wait and see what happens, or not. That'd be in his, his best interest. I'd like to see everybody perform in their own best interest. Does anybody else have any question before we vote? Any comments?
What are we paying our new fiscal individual per hour?
Mr. Steve, do you know that?
What's
answer?
that?
There's a question on
Our
the
new
board.
fiscal employee, what is her hourly rate?
$60 an hour.
So Detective Godshall is not worth 38. Okay, thank you.
I don't know that anybody said that, but I am gonna
What
call
about
this, for vote. Mr. Rhodes,
Well, I was going to say something before.
I'm sorry, Harold,
So-
I did not want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
The pay raises in the police department are contractual obligations. And it's unfortunate in the last contract that it was kind of overlooked. Nobody made any allowances for that position to be granted a pay raise. And we are going to be entering contract negotiations here shortly. So, I would imagine there's nothing says that you couldn't do this, but it needs to be considered for the contract. going forward.
Folks, this is our collective bargain agreement through 2026. This contract doesn't really mention that because I believe this contract was poorly done. In fact, I recall voting against this contract. Now, I believe Mr. Rhodes was instrumental in getting this agreement done or enacted or drafted or whatever you'd like to say, and it just wasn't up to snuff. And I'm hoping when we go around this time, some of that will be straightened out. So what I believe what Mr. Steve is saying is that this was a contractual obligation that's overlooked, but it's something I want to look at, make sure that raise frankly is in line, and after I study it, I wouldn't even rule out maybe giving him a little more than that. That's how fair I'd like to think this board would be. But I'm suggesting we study it for a month, and I'm going to bring it once again to a vote. Mr. Rhodes?
Yep.
Mr. Gillo?
Yes.
I'll vote no. Ms. Fix?
God deserves it.
I'm gonna have to vote yes.
Ms. Fix votes yes. Mr. Steve?
I will be no, only because I think that we need to look at the contractual obligations of this.
Okay, so the motion passes. Do you mind informing him that the board has done that? Has made that raise. Now, as we get closer to contract negotiations, I'm looking forward to,
I agree with Harold. I think it
better.
needs to be put in, and I think it was an oversight that he is,
well, I don't think it was just an oversight, Acting Chief. I don't think it was an oversight. I think it was a poorly done agreement, and that's what I said before.
yeah.
There was
I mean, I don't know if I
a
agree with that.
protracted period of time where there were no even negotiations there. It was I know, I was on the board. And then all of a sudden, boom, the beginning of the year, the contract seems to fly full speed ahead. It's kind of amazing.
On the first end of that, I was part of that team before I rotated off the board. And the officers were adamantly opposed to that position even being created.
Yeah, well, one officer was,
Well,
but then we came to an agreement that we had to have the word wording put in there that if the position would ever become full-time, it would go to a full-time employee here first. And they were okay with it at that point.
Okay, well, we'll get to negotiations, I think, soon, or we'll begin to think about them soon. So now, are we done with, we didn't do an end-of-year review.
Nope, I have that here in front of me.
Now, we've seen that before, or no?
So I emailed you guys the 20-page copy. This is more or less the cliff notes, are just some of the important things that I just wanted to go over here real quick. I'll just read through it as fast as I can. It is about a page and a half. I just want you guys to be aware of it. So we had 10,548 daily logged incident types in 2025. We had 3,655 incidents dispatched through burst radio. We had 170 motor vehicle accidents. We had 569 self-initiated traffic stops. We had 104 UCR reportable offenses. We had 180 assists to neighboring departments. We had 2,658 business and property checks done on the midnight shift. We had an overall crime reduction of 5.69% compared to 2022. I think that is a direct impact from, one, the part-time detective taking on all the investigative calls that they'll be able to keep the guys out on the street, and also with the police admin helping the guys do different paperwork in the office to get them back out on the street. We implemented a speed study program where a complainant can come in, do an excessive speed. We have officer come and then go out and erect a radar sign. Data is collected for approximately 2 weeks. He gives the data to the police admin. She uploads it into a database, finds out if the violations occurred, when and where, and then if a problem is identified, extra enforcement is put out. We've actually been utilizing that a lot more than I thought we would. We have a lot of complaints with speeding, and I think it definitely helps with us to be able to put it out there and actually see if there is an issue or not. We participated in 17 community events. Officers attended various training courses throughout the year. I am pleased to say that our police admin obtained her JNet and Cody administrator certifications, as well as Corporal Cooper also received his Cody administrator certifications. Our admin converted all of our OCA validations into digital record form in our record management system. All the validations have to be done on a monthly basis, so being able to put them into our record management system is definitely saving a lot of time, and it's more professional, and we don't have to worry about stuff getting lost. All the documents in the department were updated to a fillable PDF. The police admin spearheaded Act 18 monthly CDR, which is the contact data reporting information, started January 1st of 2026. Every traffic stop we do, we have to document it and submit a report to the state police on a monthly basis. We applied for 3 grants for the police department and 1 for the township side. Is that correct? Just 1? I think it was a department-wide one. We started a new Instagram account for transparency within the community. Corporal Cooper received an Exceptional Duty Award from the FOP. Jake Ketter received an Exceptional Duty Award and Meritorious Service Award from the FOP. We hosted a challenge coin fundraiser for a little girl who lost her family in the fire. We raised $1,500 for her. We're happy about that. We're happy that we had several upgrades to the building, specifically the drive-it and the camera system. I know Howard was a big proponent of that, so thank you, Howard. We appreciate that. So at the end of 2024, we adopted a budget of $1,423,867.53 for 2025. The highest variance in the budget was overtime. We were over the overtime budget by 99.34%. We went over the budget by $39,736.30 in just the overtime. I would like to note that we were down from 1 officer for the entire year, a 2nd officer for several months out of the year. Both officers resigned, and then we're out a 3rd officer due to a traumatic incident that occurred, which was one of the fires. He was out for an extended period of time. With those 3 officers being out as much as they did, obviously we had to cover shifts and do what we needed to do, so that's why we're over in the overtime budget. That being said, even though with the additional overtime costs, we still came in under budget, $174,743.71. Under budget we came.
Can you repeat that number?
Yep, $174,743.71.
Thank
And that
you.
would be as of December 25th.
Can you just give it to what you're doing?
That was for my own personal
Oh, yeah.
brain.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
would
and
like to
and
see a
that's in the
copy.
full report?
Yeah, it's in the full report.
Okay.
So the end of year budget for us was $1,249,123.82. And then I just want to personally thank every officer, every family member for the incredible sacrifices you made. Being understaffed hasn't been easy. It meant long shifts, mandatory overtime, missed games, missed dinners, and missed time at home. Yet every single time the residents of Robeson Township needed you, you showed up. The kind of dedication doesn't happen by accident. It comes from deep commitment to service and to each other. And to their families, thank you for sharing your time, your holidays, and your loved ones with the community. Your support behind the scenes is just as important as the work done on the street. Your sacrifice matters, your service matters, and this community is stronger because of you, so thank you.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Before we move on, Mr. Gould, you were referencing something in the budget with specific numbers, and you were having a discussion with our solicitor. What was the issue?
I was asking if anything changed.
Yeah, and what section were you talking about?
Not a specific section, it was a blanket question, if anything was
Now,
changed.
Mr.
And I was
Marola-
told no, so that's fine.
Mr. Marola, no, it's not fine. Mr. Marola, what was the comment? Excuse me, gentlemen. We'll have one person talking at a time. Mr. Marola, what was the comment you made on uniforms or something?
Yeah, I sort of think there was like a miscommunication, because I think you asked like if the budget changed. And Mr. Steve said, yes, but not really, the budget didn't change, he changed the bookkeeping. So, and the example I think he said was that the uniform allowance, so the uniform allowance number stayed the same. But
So I'm looking
under
at-
that, he made some.
I'm looking at 410,706 uniforms at $3,700. What number do we think was not
So the
right?
number is the same. I think in a way,
It's the
he
line
said that the
items.
budget changed was kind of a miscommunication, the way he said the bookkeeping changed, so the dollar figure for uniform stayed the same.
Right,
But,
it was broken out.
right.
And that's acceptable, I was just,
So I think the
I'm not-
discussion was the number didn't, it really didn't change.
I'm
The
not
budget did
really
change.
clear why we're revisiting that, but I certainly want
You just brought it
clarification.
up.
I want clarification.
That's why we're
No,
revisiting
why we're
it.
revisiting a while ago. If something's wrong, then we need to fix it.
I asked if something was wrong, I was told no, and let's move on.
Is it, well, as long as it's right.
That's
I'm
exactly
just
correct,
not
as long
clear
as it's right.
what you're doing.
Ask me a
Really?
question.
Well, I did.
No,
So
I didn't.
You didn't understand, Mr. Goodlow, you didn't understand the breakdown of the budget.
No,
Is that the
no.
problem?
No. I asked if anything was changed from what was approved. Numbers, titles,
the
or
answer-
amounts.
and
And
the
the
answer-
answer was no.
Well, the answer was yes. It was broken down and handled a
But that's
different
not
way,
changed.
but no mountains were
Correct.
increased.
Correct.
Okay, so are you satisfied with the budget now?
If that's the truth, then I am absolutely satisfied.
Well, do you have some reason to believe that it's not the truth?
I may not.
Well, when you do, maybe you could share that with us.
No, we don't share around here too well.
Share that with us if you want. So we'll move on to finance. And we'll ask Mr. Steve if the monthly expenses and treasurer's report and sewer aging report appear in order.
They are in here. The thing to note is we do have a list in here at the end of this AG sewer report of people that need to be leaned.
Okay, and Mr. Marola,
Yes.
I believe that this board directed you to perform those liens. It doesn't have to be done tonight yet. But we do want to make sure, that seems to be something that Mr. Steve is quite passionate about. I asked him the other day, and his commentary was to the extent that if people are using a service and they're not paying for it, it kind of inflates everybody else's costs. I believe that's true. it's been a little bit of a difficult issue because in the past, there is by ordinance, by code, not an ability of a manager to make payments or make arrangements, but yet we seem to do that in the past. And that's one indicator of what's gotten this township to where it's been, or where it is. Those type of things. So let's, kind of stay on top of that as best we can. I know I can count on you, Harold, to do that.
There is one on here that we need to resolve with the county. Person bought the property, in January, and, it's overdue sewer bill on it. So he obviously didn't incur a $40 sewer bill in 1 quarter. So we have to address that
So
with
we
the
have
county, because they should have paid that off.
We have some discrepancy. So at this point, we would be looking for a motion, would we not, Mr. Steve, to accept those reports?
Sure, I'll make that motion that we accept the, reports in our hands for the finance and other.
Do I have a second on
I'll second it.
that? All those in favor, Mr. Rhodes,
Yes.
Mr. Gillo,
Yes.
Ms. Fix,
Yes.
Mr. Steve,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. Okay, on item Roman numeral 6, we have some appointments to address on the reorganizational meeting. Are these what the tabs are for?
Yeah, to follow along with the packet. So the,
So we're going to this one.
this one.
No tab on that one.
Yeah, it is right there.
Oh, okay. No, tab. This is what I was calling a tab, the little blue sticker. All right, so we have a issue of the Township Deputy Open Records Officer. Is the deputy second in command, Mr. Steve?
Yeah, in the event the open records officer is not there, they fulfill that responsibility.
Okay, so why don't we call that an alternate? Or secondary? It seems like it should be a different term. Right now,
This is a term established by the state.
right now, Mr. Steve is serving as the open records officer.
Right.
He got appointed, but there was some concern on that, Mr. Rhodes. There was some concern about, was it seconding his own motion or something? I saw an email, and the email indicated from you that residents had correspondence to you, multiple residents?
Correct.
Now, those correspondence, are they in writing to you?
Nope.
Excuse me?
Nope.
So they're not correspondence, they're contact. Township residents contacted you and were concerned that Mr. Steve seconded his own motion.
Correct.
But somehow I was in error, or he was, but you've resolved that?
Yes, that's resolved. You misspoke in your during that meeting, because you told Mr. Steve he could second his own motion.
No,
and that's where it confused.
I don't recall that.
You
I
did.
think
I watched a couple
Okay,
times.
now, at one time you said that you were going to
But they,
make copies of the videos and bring those forward. Did you do that? Do you
I have
that?
copies of all the different videos, yeah.
Okay, well, if you wanna
the
bring
different
those, and
segments.
if you wanna
But
bring
yeah,
those,
it was cleared up, but you did say that, and that's where the residents got confused, because they thought he was seconding his own motion, because that's what you said.
well, I don't
But he really
recall
wasn't,
that.
so.
I'm certainly gonna look at that, but I know you can't second your own motion. So if I did misspeak, I wanna apologize to all those people that contacted Mr. Rhodes, and I'd like you to contact me. If you misspoke, it'd be better to go directly to the person who allegedly made the mistake. So I asked you, Mr. Rhodes, if you or anybody else on the board wanted to be the open records, the right to know person, etc. And it seems like we're nitpicking. It seems like we're spinning our wheels doing counterproductive things. Now, the reality of the situation as it relates to the right to know is Mr. Steve serves in that and has served in that capacity in the past. He serves as a volunteer, he doesn't get paid, and no one else wanted to do it. And yet we seem to be nitpicky. So do you want to be the deputy, Mr. Rhodes? You want to be the...
The motion
okay.
passed. I don't understand what the problem is.
Okay,
with
there
it,
seems to be a problem with your
There
nitpicking.
was no one nitpicked anything.
They reached out to me, I wanted to clear it up,
And you did?
and I cleared it up. There's no nitpicking.
Okay.
Nobody did anything.
Okay.
I explained to them what happened. I told them to go back and watch the video. They saw it. They saw what you said.
And are
It was
they-
misspoke.
Are they
The motion
satisfied?
for Mr. Steve has passed. I don't understand why we're revisiting this.
Are they-
This is so counterproductive, like
Are
you
they,
say.
are they
It's unbelievable.
satisfied to the people that reported to you now? That we have an open records officer, we have a right to know person? Are they satisfied? And are you satisfied?
I would like to make a motion to, or I would like to nominate Paula Cohen to be our deputy open records officer.
Paul, are you willing to accept that? Paul has answered in the affirmative. I'll second that motion. All those in favor, Mr. Rhodes,
Yes.
Mr. Gullo,
Yes.
Ms. Fix,
Yes.
Mr. Steve,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. Code Enforcement and Building and Zoning Officer. At this point, we still have Technicon, is that correct?
It is.
All right. And we've received a packet from System,
SDE, Systems Design Engineering.
okay, and we want to take time to compare those packets, do we not?
Well, yeah, but I thought we were going to, or someone was gonna arrange a meeting with, both groups to, interview and ensure that they were going to meet what we were requiring them to do.
Yeah. When you say someone, I believe Technicon would like to come in and make a presentation at some particular point, but there appears to be a couple of issues that I think are legal in nature, and we want to get our solicitor's opinion on whether that can occur in executive session. You, Mr. Steve, are would like them both to do a presentation in public, is that correct?
I have no preference. I mean,
Well, to the
I think
extent,
it's gonna be difficult to get them to come in here to an evening meeting to do their presentation.
well, I think they did once before a number of years ago, but I want to make sure that business is conducted in the public whenever possible, meaning whenever required. When I said about a lengthy executive session, we do have personnel and legal issues to go over, and there's certain things by nature of the law that we can't necessarily get into. But other than that, so why don't I take the bull by the horns? If we're looking for somebody to reach out and set something up, I'll take the bull by the horns and contact Technicon and SDE. SDE serves as our alternate now, correct?
They do.
Okay, so we are functioning. It's just we want to make perhaps more appointments. So next month, we'll arrange either the second or third Thursday, and I'll let everybody know, how that's going to play out.
Do we have to extend?
I was just gonna ask that.
Well, we didn't already because we're past that.
Yeah.
If your question is, do we have to extend
'Cause I think we
Technicon's
give them 30
functioning?
days.
Right, and we're already past that.
Yeah.
So if you're making a motion, Ms. Fix, to extend Technicon's
Yeah.
stay here,
Until the
Can you
meeting.
do that?
Yeah, you probably wanna say a time, or?
yeah, she said till the next
Till
meeting.
the-
Oh, okay, sorry.
That
So
would be
till
the
the
regular
workshop
meeting,
or
the
the
third,
regular?
the third Thursday, let's do the regular.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to extend Technicon until the regular meeting in March.
Do I have
I'll
a
second
second?
that.
Seconded by Mr. Steve. All those in favor, Mr. Rhodes,
Yes.
Mr. Gullo,
Yes.
Ms. Fix,
Yes.
Mr. Steve,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. Sewage enforcement officer is the same, correct?
Yes.
So I would anticipate Ms. Fix being very astute, she would make the same motion on this issue. The alternate sewage enforcement
Oh,
officer
yeah,
is
yeah.
also systems, correct?
Yes.
Yes, that's.
Okay, so we essentially need the same motion.
Alright, so then I'll make a motion to extend the sewage enforcement officer as Technicon until the regular meeting in March.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, Mr. Rhodes,
Yes.
Mr. Gullo,
Yes.
Ms. Fix,
Yes.
Mr. Steve,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. Do we have any people interested in auditors? I see we have this on the agenda, but I was under the impression we had nobody interested. So who do we want to move on
I
that?
don't know that we've heard anything from anyone, but someone else had some write-ins and questioned it. But, I mean, I think they need to turn in a letter of interest and saying,
Okay.
I moved to.
All right, in terms of, then we'll move on for now for that. In terms of an item missing, we have 2 vacancies on the sewer authority, correct, Mr. Steve?
There are.
Okay, and we have 2 letters of interest, one from a Robert Caldwell, who expressed an interest before and was, I'll say, passed over in the reorganization meeting, and then we have a Robert Albert, who,
I think that's later in the agenda.
no, that's all right, we'll do it now.
Okay,
It's something we were supposed to do and didn't do.
yeah.
So I'll make that motion, we appoint both of those. Robert Albert and Robert Caldwell to the sewer authority. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor by roll call vote. Mr. Rhodes,
Yes.
Ms. Phipps,
Yes.
Mr. Steve?
Yes.
I'll vote yes, and please note, Mr. Guro was absent. All right. That concludes that portion, does it not?
Of the reorganization?
No, of item A.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to item B, we have a mailbox policy. I'm not sure one is needed, but we can certainly,
I'm of the belief we adopt exactly what PennDOT has, nothing more, nothing less.
so is that in form of a motion, Mr. Steve?
Is everybody reviewed?
Well, see if there's a second, and then we'll follow Robert's rules.
I'll make a
of order.
motion, we adopt the PennDOT's policy on mailboxes.
I will
and
second
snow.
that as previously provided.
Okay, any discussion on that motion? All those in favor by roll call vote, Mr. Rhodes,
Yes.
Mr. Gullo,
Yes.
Ms. Fix,
Yes.
Mr. Steve,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. All right. Budget to date, projected and actual.
Okay, so, we don't have that because of the bills not being in the QuickBooks, early enough,
Okay,
which is a topic we'll talk about in executive.
all right. Item 7, Mr. Rhodes, anything on our database?
Yeah, so I have about 2 or 3 things to finish up yet, and then just a handful of cleanup stuff, and then I can bring it in and.
How hard is it gonna be to transfer the data in?
What do you mean transfer? You mean like from the spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Not hard. It'll
They
take,
transfer easy?
yeah, a couple, like 30 seconds or something.
Yeah.
But I'll just give a quick demo to everybody, just take a look at it, and then if you see things you want to change, we'll change them, or we can go live with it if it's fine, and then just make modifications in the future. So.
Awesome.
By the way, folks, that's not our, while it is our responsibility or ordinance, it's not our brainchild. That has to do with the pumping of the septic systems. The township predominantly has, homes have septic systems, and there's rules set down by state and county agencies that we need to follow.
Just a little footnote on that. The ordinance does not cover cesspools. And we had our very first cesspool come in the other day. So, we did have Quinn go out and, I'll say quote unquote, certify it to say it is functioning properly.
My recollection, Mr. Steve, was that ordinance had a couple of phrases I thought that caught that, kind of catch-all phrase.
Well,
Am I mistaken?
it does, but how are you supposed to know whether it's functioning or not if the report
No, I'm
comes back
talking
in-
about the labeling of a cesspool versus a septic system. Well, I'm not familiar enough with that ordinance
Yeah.
recently, but,
I haven't looked at it recently. so-
all right.
but-
Well, that's something that, we all know that we have yet another issue here at the township that's not gonna be resolved easily. We have a number of ordinances that don't seem to be properly organized, if you will. And it's something that we're gonna need to work on. It's something that puts everybody in a little bit of an issue. That also has to do with that codifying you may have heard me talk about before. And this isn't something that happens overnight. This is something that happened in the last decade plus. office turnover, lack of organization, lack of oversight. Those are all kind of explanations or excuses, if you will, but we are going to work on that. I don't expect that to be an easy, fix. Does anybody on this board want to kind of spearhead that? Mr. Rhodes, would you be interested in that?
What do you want me to spearhead?
Spearhead I'll say, organization of our entire ordinances. Want to be involved with that?
Sure, I'll be involved with it.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'll be glad to help on that.
Okay.
It's a big undertaking.
Okay, well, we gotta just take, steps, and we can't when I say steps, we gotta get started. Every journey begins with the first step, and we can't just kick the can down the road. That's what I believe that we've done. So, thank you, Mr. Rhodes and Mr. Steve. I'll certainly be involved in that. Some ordinances from time to time, I've actually participated in their writing. But like I said, it's a difficult job, to keep them up to date. So moving on for a second, I think we're on the fire company issues. Friendship, we now have an emergency services section in Gibraltar. We've had their reports at the workshop, did we not?
Yeah.
Are you here for?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
That's
You have
right.
anything to say?
Yes, so I'm here, my name's Rob Van Loo, I'm representing Friendship Fire Company of Geigertown. I wanted to give a 2025 report and January of 2026 report and a couple of other things as well. So in 2025, we had a total of 648 calls, 234 of which were medical. The balance were, I'll say, fire calls, not necessarily fires, but non-medical calls. As was mentioned earlier, we had 2 fatal fires in 2025 with a total of 5 fatalities, which was very difficult on the residents, obviously, and the families, but it was also difficult on our fire company, our police department, and some of our neighboring fire companies that were there too. So we did have sessions where we could talk through those issues, but that was a very difficult time for the fire company. January, we had a total of 32 calls, 13 of which were medical. And several months ago, I reported that we received a grant from FEMA to purchase thermal imaging cameras and multi-gas meters. Those have arrived, and we have representatives coming in to provide detailed training on the use of both of those. And then one last thing, we are constantly trying to raise funds, and we are going to start with seafood dinners on Friday evenings, beginning February 20th through March 27th. And this is our first year doing that, so we're going to try that. Hopefully residents of the township will support us. That's it.
Sir, could you leave your phone number with Paula? I don't want you to announce it in the public meeting, but if you could leave a contact number for me to get a hold of you, I've got a question or two that I'd like to ask you.
Sure.
Thank you.
I don't know whether this is a question for you or Scott. With the change in the fuel cards and the fuel systems, would you guys have any need or want to have the WEX cards to fuel at someplace other than Eshelman's?
Is there a cost, and does it harm to have them for extra cards?
It's just extra bookkeeping, and if you need it, I think we should get it. If you don't need it, there's no cost savings for us.
The previous Eshelman's cards worked at Sheets. So we used those at the Sheets in Morgantown previously, coming back from like Carnarvon, Honeybrook area.
Yeah.
And then it worked at the, what's the one, 345 and 420 Santora, where there was that one back there. Penn Pride. That card worked there. I'm going to tell you, in the last 10 years, we might have used them 3 times.
Okay.
It's
So
never been an emergent issue that, we had to stop here. It was just
So if
On the
you-
way.
If you
If we,
find a need, let me
correct,
know.
I wouldn't get into
We'll-
that
we'll
for,
get you hooked up.
yes,
But we did issue though for Gibraltar, because it makes no sense for them to drive to
correct,
Plowville to get fuel.
yep.
Burn 3 gallons of fuel to get there, and then 3 gallons back, and it's kinda like
No,
self-defeating.
we'll advise if we ever feel that's needed, but I don't think so.
So you're gonna leave your number with Paul, so I can give you
Correct.
yours. Thank you. Is that it?
Yep.
Well, thank you. Thank all your guys, and we appreciate that. Anything from emergency services? Gibraltar, we've had their report. Did we accept those formally at the workshop? Does anybody recall? If not, we'll do it again, and I'll make a motion that we accept those reports. Do I have a second?
I will second that,
All those in favor, Mr. Rhodes,
Yes.
Mr. Gullo,
Yes.
Ms. Fix,
Yes.
Mr. Steve,
yeah.
and I'll vote yes. We have in here our reorganization workshop and regular meetings. Do I have a motion to approve those three? Are they ready to be approved, Ms. Fix?
I believe so, I sent them in.
I will make that motion, we approve. those
Motion
minutes.
made by Mr. Guido, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, Mr. Rhodes,
Yes.
Mr. Gullo,
Yes.
Ms. Fix,
Yes.
Mr. Steve,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. We have a sewage enforcement officer report, building inspector report, sewer report, road report, police report. It seems like we're again having multiple Gibraltar and Friendship reports, an ambulance report, and another ambulance report. I'll entertain a motion in the Village of Library. I'll entertain a motion to approve all those reports.
I'll second that.
I'll entertain a motion, Mr. Steve.
Oh,
So
I'll
you-
second
make a
that
motion.
So Mr. Steve makes a motion, Mr. Gullo seconds that. All those in favor? Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. Gullo?
Yes.
Ms. Fix?
Yes.
Mr. Steve?
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Planning and engineering, are we bright-eyed and ready to go?
You better believe it. One of the questions that came up at the workshop was with respect to the planning status updates of the plans before the planning commission. I had emailed this out after that meeting. The first sheet is essentially the last sheet of every planning commission agenda, where the planning commission reviews the review timeframes associated with each plan. And as you can see, we have a handful expiring at the end of March. The longest running of which, as we all know, has been Cedar Hill Estates. The far right-hand column references the last or most recent plan review for these plans. The second one is Rock Hollow Woods. That has been on hold for some building permitting issues, which Technicon has resolved. And that plan has been resubmitted, will be on the Planning Commission agenda for March. And the Wesley Road plan was just in for the first time here in January. So those are the plans currently under review by the Planning Commission. The subsequent pages deal with the time extension request form, which we utilize to send to developers, and the Robeson Township Board of Supervisors time extension subdivisional land development review policy, which I just thought was worth distributing to you. So I don't know if there's any questions with where we stand with some of these. Certainly, the first one on the list has been extended for quite some time now, with little action before the Planning Commission, other than updates when they were requested.
I take it most of these are being held up by the weather.
I'm sorry?
Most of the completion of these are being held up by the weather.
No, so these are all in planning, one form or another. So as we go down the list here, you can see Cedar Hill Estates preliminary plan approval was there in 2012. That was the residential development. And then we have a number of conditionally approved plans, which I'm assuming are held up for financing in some form or another. I know that the Legacy Park plans, they are chomping at the bit to get started. We are waiting on a final stormwater agreement from them, as well as an escrow to be established. They do have an NPDS permit, they need to record that, and then they can break ground, and they are anxious to bring their plans back to the board for final signature. The storage magazine facility on Hertzler Farm has just been sitting since we provided conditional final plan approval, so I have not received an update from them. Once those plans move to conditional final plan approval, we no longer extend them, they are essentially approved once they satisfy those conditions.
Does that conclude your commentary? What do you believe, when something received, I'm talking about Cedar Hill Estates, when something receives conditional approval in 2012, and we're still sitting here, what are your thoughts on that?
My opinion is it's been sitting here way too long.
Well, that's my thoughts. Mr. Morrow.
You know, one of the problems with them laying around like that is that laws change, everything changes. I mean, even the topography could have changed between now and then.
Well, depending on the extent of those changes, that could present problems. Mr. Morrow, at what point, how would you advise this board, and if you're not prepared to do it tonight, I'm okay with that, but at what point do we tell a developer, if you're going to proceed, proceed? Is that done by not granting continued extensions? What are your thoughts?
I think that the extension, yeah, that's obviously, I think, the first step. I don't know, we've talked about this a little bit, this particular one.
Yeah.
So particular to that, there are some things I can talk to the board about with that one, in consideration of what you wanna do on that. But just in generally speaking, for something that's that old, I think it would be, anything with the extensions.
Okay, well, I think,
Not
right now they have an extension, their next term is up when?
It will expire next, March 31st.
Well,
Okay.
there's conditions that they're supposed to meet to get those extensions, if they're not.
Well, they're supposed to continue to progress in good faith, right? We have invited them in here a number of times during my tenure to provide updates. I'd be hard pressed if you really made me to explain to you what updates they've provided that have progressed, right? Other than they have discussed a potential alternative plan for the site. That was the last time that we visited with them, was when they discussed the data center
The
stuff.
last thing I recall was they did something with the railroad, with the signals or something. I forget exactly what it was, but that was quite a number of years ago.
Yeah, and then they were supposedly looking at wetland credits with DEP and things of that nature, which I'll give you, take time, but.
Oh,
you know,
I grant you, but 14 years?
Agreed.
Okay, well, I think for those who wanna proceed, I think we really need to think about that.
I will say this as well, just to kind of conclude the discussion on these issues. Throughout our municipal client base, we are seeing a number of plans come in that are severely lacking.
Lacking in engineering,
Lacking in engineering, lacking in detail, lacking in enough information to do a full review. I would question on this list, 34 Wesley Road may fall into that category.
Well, then they should be rejected, should they not?
Correct, and that's where I was going with this, is I believe my conversations with the planning commission have been that we are going to move more towards not accepting those plans for review, so that they don't end up on this list and become our responsibility to babysit, so.
I guess a comment about that is, so, they pay for the review when they submit the plan. If we're not going to review, quote unquote, how are we gonna pay you for actually looking at, see whether it even qualifies?
Well, I think that, and we can talk about legally how that works, but I am not, ducking this responsibility. That's my responsibility to get on that plan early and let Paula know, or whoever's in the office, hey, I think we have one that we wanna move to reject.
Yeah,
We're not
I'm just saying, I'm looking to close the loop on how we're gonna get paid for that, so,
Yeah,
we're not,
and we can discuss how that, I mean, they submit an application fee.
Yeah.
I would assume that you could, invoice against what that is and return the remainder, I don't know how that would really.
Okay.
Okay,
Next item is the Hopewell Road Guide Rail. I will be honest with you, there are two items, both this item and Old River Road, that Barry and I have to get together and take a look at. Between the snow schedule and sickness here and there, we have not accomplished that, but we will, and we will get back to the board. There was an email that I circulated that came from LTAP that provided a couple ideas on ways to address this. This again is the guide rail, which has been hit, Harold, is it 5 times?
It's either 5 or 6 times since it was installed.
Since we paved and installed that road? Yeah, yeah.
Been a lot.
So we're gonna take a look at this. And my other thought with this is, if we're going to do line painting, there's probably some other line painting responsibilities that we should freshen up come this spring. So we're gonna look at this kind of overall in the township and.
I still think we need to put, the rumble strips or something to do
Yeah.
that, because right now you wouldn't see lines, anything painted on that roadway anyway.
Right.
So I think that that's definitely gonna slow you up. You're gonna say, hey, what's this? And you're gonna slow up, as opposed to, they don't see the signs, they don't see anything else. I'm not thinking they're gonna see a curve painted on the roadway, so they need something to. And almost all of them, I think, have not been local people.
I'd say majority are not.
Yeah,
I would venture to assume that road sees significant traffic from outside of the area on the way to the park, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure where these people are
Yeah,
coming
that's
from.
usually
Or
what it
outrunning
is.
police from Walmart?
That's a possibility too. Normally, they hit the turnpike, but.
all right. Next item.
This was an item that I had requested late be added to your agenda. Last week, we received, and I believe Paula circulated, a zoning application for, it's marked 73 Weaver Road. I think that's an address of one of the applicants. This is on Zion Road. This is the farm when you turn, it's to the right when you turn off of Route 10 on the Zion Road, sits up on the hill. The house now, I think, is accessed off of Red Fox Lane, is that what it's called? Okay. This is a zoning application, as I read it. I have not reviewed this. I've read through it when it came through via email, and I thought it was worth bringing to your attention. It is a variance request for a second principal use on a property. It's currently residential and agricultural. They want to install a Amish schoolhouse on, from what I understand, is a leased parcel. Again, I haven't read through this to that amount of detail. It's also requesting a special exception, as I understand it, for the one-room schoolhouse. So a special exception is allowed in this zoning district for religious uses, and our zoning ordinance does clarify religious uses versus educational uses. So there's a number of things that need to be vetted as part of this application. I spoke with these folks several months ago, and I advised them that I recommended that they submit a sketch plan for a zoning review. Allow the planning commission and myself to do that zoning review. And then if they weren't satisfied with that, they could certainly appeal that to the zoning officer. And then go, they were gonna need zoning relief to some degree. It's a matter of what relief they need and to what extent they need it.
And let me guess, they didn't do that.
They did not do that. So, when this showed up, I wanted to bring this to your attention so that you knew that this was coming down the pike. The zoning application will be on the March agenda for planning commission. We will discuss this and take a little time to look at it at the meeting, and likely bring a recommendation back for you. But if you have time, please take a read through it.
Well, it seems to me fundamentally, two principal uses on one deed are inherently problematic. Would you agree with that, Mr. Moore?
That requires a variance.
Well, regardless of a variance, it's still problematic.
Well, it's always difficult to prove a variance, so it's
There's no
always
hardship.
difficult to prove why I need 2 uses on one property, but that's their burden.
Correct. There's also been drainage issues on this property.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Drainage issues where we've had our culvert washed out, we replaced it. A neighbor on the lower side of Zion Road has been completely inundated in water where he had mud washing his garage. As well as, if you look through this application where they're showing to access Zion Road, I don't know how you would get a horse and buggy safely in and out of there. Any vehicle for that matter.
All right, well, let's take a look at it.
Take a look at it. I do have one update item also, just so the board is aware. I was not expecting this, but we did receive the response from PennDOT regarding our Green Light Go application. They are stating that it is a viable project. We are now on the clock to get this turned around and back into them. By way of refreshing your memory, this is a 20% match. We have to put up 20% of the cost to update the signals here at Gibraltar Road, okay? And the signal at 568. So at this point, we've been told we have a viable project. They gave us a review, things that we need to change. I think it went to the manager email. I don't know if that went out to everybody or not. Next month, if we decide to move forward, I'm going to need a resolution at the regular meeting that will basically state that the board agrees to pay their 20% match so that we can submit this. We are looking at a cost of over $200,000. And again, our match is in the neighborhood of $50,000. I have to take a look at all those numbers. And some of what our review has been is check this cost, and this cost before you submit the final application. I will also need somebody from the township to help us establish what's known as a TSAMS administrator, which is PennDOT's traffic signal inventory site. I am certain, Harold, you tell me if you think I'm wrong, I'm certain we don't have that set up.
Oh, we do.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah,
So
I got Tim's.
you have access to it?
I believe so.
Okay. So that's good news. So we can get, that's how all of this information is uploaded.
What made you believe it wouldn't be set up? I'm curious.
Because we've had some issues with getting these things set up for liquid fuel, so there was no way I really thought that we had that set up.
Harold, are you sure that we do?
I'm not positive, but I think I do.
Okay. How hard is it to do if we don't have it done?
I don't think it's terribly difficult. I just needed somebody to be that.
Let me
Well,
check the
the
book of
problem, the
tricks.
problem here, as you're aware, we're, without a manager,
Mhm.
we're short-staffed, and, Harold's done the best he can do to pull things together. And, it's a concern. It's a concern. Okay.
So with this on the very near horizon, is the board okay with myself coordinating with Harold to get that all ready to go, or would you rather select somebody else? It doesn't matter to me.
Would anybody else like to do it? Mr. Rhodes?
No, sir.
Mr. Gullo?
I think Harold's the right candidate if he accepts.
No, Harold, I don't want to throw more on your plate, but you seem like to be the man in that position of no. Were you willing to do that?
I'll do it.
All right, then
It
I'll
shouldn't
make a
really be that
motion,
much.
whether it's required or not, to have Harold work with our engineer to establish, what is it called?
This is to submit the Green Light Go application and submit it through the PennDOT, what's known as the TSAMS system.
Okay, so the green light go through the key stand system, that's my motion. Is that clear enough, Ms. Fix?
Yes.
You want to do that, Harold?
I think I can figure it out.
Okay, I made a motion, is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Seconded by Mr. Rhodes. All those in favor, Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. Gullo?
Yes.
Ms. Phipps?
Yes.
Mr. Steve?
Yes.
I'll vote yes.
Thank you, board. Sorry to add that one to the list. That's all I have for this evening.
Mr. Morrell, on legal matters.
Right, so the first one there is that the data center we talked about, and yes, so since last week we've had some emails back and forth with the EAC to answer some of the questions they had last week at the workshop meeting to get them moving forward to be able to go to the planning commission next, or March 2nd, 2 weeks, 10 days.
Okay, good. Keep moving. Keep the progress going. Item B. This was something that I placed on the agenda. You can tell by the initials. If somebody puts something on the agenda, I'm asking us to put our initials on that. We'll be having some legal discussions on that in executive session, as I have a few questions. So that's item B. Any comment on appointment of labor counsel from your position, Mr. Morrell? We're gonna need labor counsel for the aforementioned negotiations with our unions and also some labor council, which is kind of a specialized field. We want to get them on board so that we can address labor issues.
If the board want, I can,
I think
make some calls to get some.
one name,
If you
one
want.
name that we did call, I think, or I recall back last year, was Edwin Stock.
Okay.
I believe him to be available. Do you believe, as a board, that he might be acceptable? If not, we'll get somebody else.
I don't know the name, I can't speak on that.
Well, either way, I'll make a motion that we appoint Edwin Stock upon review of his request for his retainer agreement, some satisfactory approval of that, so we can kind of get up and rolling.
Why don't we get like his resume and,
Now, we have that on file because he also applied for a solicitor back when, so we have that.
I don't have it with me.
Yeah, can we
No, I
see
mean,
that?
I don't know.
Was,
Yeah, he applied last year for that.
I think we should re-review the resume maybe, take a look at it.
take him,
Major motion, somebody wants to
Yeah, is there a second to my motion? That's tentative to our approval of that, approval of his resume and his retainer agreement. If we don't like what his retainer agreement is and his hourly rate, then we won't hire him. So do I have a second?
I'll second it dependent upon the review of his resume and agreement.
Okay. All those in favor, Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. Gullo?
No.
Ms. Fix?
Yes.
Mr. Steve?
Yeah.
And I'll vote yes. Item D was the resolution we need to once and for all put to bed the audiovisual agreement that was done at the reorganization meeting, and that will go in, in our proper book as it's done. Paul, I indicated to you, I'll show you at some point how we kind of got off track, and then show you how to maybe keep us on track, from your perspective. We just didn't do that. She's been swamped and inundated.
So I have that resolution, I don't know if my packet is the same as yours, if you have it. But if not, I've brought extra copies if you want to see it.
Yeah, can I take a look at that?
Sure, it's
We're
very
talking about the audio-video resolution.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I have the same packet that you guys have, the same packet that I have. I can make copies. I have another copy too. if you want.
We only need three. We only need three.
Okay, this looks to be in order. I don't know the number. Do we happen to know?
Maybe 7.
Okay,
Am I right?
so then, this was already done at the reorganizational meeting. So therefore, we don't need another.
Well, there was a I think there's a motion.
Yes, there was a motion and it approved, I think unanimously, as I recall,
Right.
to do this. So do we need another motion or no?
I would, just to make
Okay,
sure,
then
we're
I'll
not
make-
into a resolution.
All right, I'll make that motion. We adopt resolution 2026-07. It's a resolution revoking prior resolutions that establish rules and regulations regarding audiovisual recording and conduct at public meetings. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. Gullo?
Yes.
Ms. Fix?
Yes.
Mr. Steve?
Yes.
I'll vote yes.
And that last number, or letter E is the liens, the balances and the statements for those that you want to file liens. That's all I need to do that.
Okay. We'll coordinate the smooth transition of that. Is that it for you, Mr. Morrell?
I'll mention too, since that running the RTMA is also, had some discussions with our solicitor about look at the lease.
Okay, we're gonna
So I'll
work
meet
on,
with her, sometime next month.
I wanna work on that lease. Okay?
Yep.
Mr. Redinger,
Evening, board. First item on the agenda, once again, it snowed Sunday night into a Monday. I did withhold, the guys coming in on a Sunday. We came in on Monday at 1 o'clock. My reasoning for that was our overtime is getting extremely high with it snowing all the time on a Sunday, and Sunday being double time for us. Other than that, it went as well as it could, really wasn't all that big of a snow, so. Second item I have, you'll see in the back of the packet is a quote to repair the cat backhoe. I need to do more looking into this. I don't think this quote is exactly up to, what would I wanna call it, up to snuff, or, I just think there's some other options out there, let's put it that way. It is kind of paramount that we do have that backhoe up and running for paving season. Yes, we do have a backhoe that the quarry generously, donated to us, as well as this one. But the cat backhoe, just everything about it works a lot better for paving. So
I will provide you some alternative options tomorrow.
hopefully, yeah, we could get
Do
something.
you need us to authorize you to have it moved to
Yeah,
someplace
that-
else?
Yes, so that was my next, if I could have the authorization to get said cat backhoe, from the place that it is at now, and I don't know if we just want to bring it back here for time being, so it's not sitting out there in somebody's way.
So,
There's a lot of unknowns here with this thing.
how about if we make a motion, authorize you to relocate it either back here or to a
Or
more
to a-
suitable place to have it looked at?
That works.
is that your motion, Mr. Steve?
That is in fact.
Do you
my
understand the motion, Ms. Fix?
Yep.
Do I have a second to that motion?
I will second that.
Seconded by Mr. Gulo. All those in favor, Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. Gulo?
Yes.
Ms. Fix?
Yes.
Mr. Steve?
motion. Yes.
And I'll vote yes.
All right, thank you, board. Second, I believe the board will go into executive as far as the personnel matters go. And on D, for the sign update, Paula, did I not send you the email from KC Signs? I may have missed that.
See it?
Okay.
Someone on voice?
That was my fault. I do have the updated, sign package, if you will, from KC Signs.
That's who we got it from for the first time?
That is, yes. So I do have that on my desk, I apologize, I thought I sent it over. I probably missed it with everything going on, so.
You can get it to us. It's not something I think we're gonna do tomorrow, but
Yeah, well, I could also send it to the supervisor.
yeah, send it a while.
I'll do that tomorrow. That's all I have.
Can I jump in, see letter C, personnel to discuss, we're going executive for that. Received an email today, I'm not gonna get into details on the public record. Apparently there was a meeting today regarding possible disciplinary action that we'll discuss downstairs. I'm just curious who knew about that, so I was not aware until the individual sent an email this morning.
That it?
No, nobody knew about it then? Nobody chimed in?
To me,
I was aware of it.
you show yourself.
No,
I spoke to you for an hour.
you talked on Friday that you were debating what you were going to do.
Well, if this is a personnel matter, we'll go
No,
into
this
executive
isn't
session.
personnel, this is how things are handled.
Okay, so there's an issue with how things are handled, that's your
There
concern?
was a meeting this morning with an employee regarding possible discipline, which we'll discuss downstairs. I knew an incident may have occurred on Friday, I had no idea there was a meeting today. And then I had the employee sending emails to the board, right or wrong. I'm just curious how I was excluded.
I'm not sure, I saw an email, maybe I was excluded or not.
Were you aware of the meeting
No.
today? You
No,
weren't?
No, not that I recall.
No.
You weren't aware of the meeting today?
I'm aware of something,
The meeting with the personnel today?
was that a meeting, or was that a
louder
a
mill
louder
hearing.
mill hearing?
Well, that too. We can call it
All right.
what it is.
Okay, so, without getting into the legal nature of that, you stop us, Mr. Marola, if we're running too foul ahead.
Walking around the edges.
Well, I don't wanna walk around the edges, I wanna be transparent, I wanna be forthright. So there was some type of incident here, and you had some discussions with Mr. Steve, and there was a required louder mill hearing with Mr. Steve.
There was no the incident was discussed. Future what was going to occur was not discussed.
So I don't think anything's occurred.
You had a louder mill hearing today, so
hearing was
clearly there's some action in progress that was not shared.
I mean, I thought
That's-
there'd be an email
we're gonna
letting you know,
determine-
like, hey, there's a louder mill, right?
Okay, so we had to have a
We just
loud,
noticed
we had
it,
to,
didn't notice up, I didn't-
let's
I
have
actually
one
didn't know.
person talk at a time. Go ahead.
Yeah, I helped, Mr. Steve make the notice up that you're gonna have a meeting.
Right, but don't you think that should have been distributed to the rest of the board? Like, not you, but.
I didn't
you
know I didn't know the meeting date was, I made the notice up, but it was the blank.
How
It was
were you made
when the
aware?
meeting was gonna be made.
Mr. Rhodes, how were you made aware of the meeting?
Harold called me in and asked me to review the louder mill itself, and I.
Were you told that not everyone on the board was going to be told about it?
Yes.
By,
Harold, you told me
so
I
was that
wasn't
your
telling
decision to
everybody.
not share it with the
no.
board?
Harold, that's what you said to me when I was getting
I
ready to
did
leave.
not
You
say
said,
I
"I'm
was
not
not
telling
sharing.
everybody."
One
You said,
person
"I'm
at a
not
time,
telling everybody."
gentlemen, one person, ladies. One
Your
person
words
at a
were, "I'm
time.
not telling everybody about this." That was your words.
Well, no, I said I wasn't calling Maggie because she was on vacation.
But you didn't say Maggie's name, you just said, "I'm not telling everybody about this."
Well, that's
Was
what he
that
meant
your
then.
decision, or were you directed by someone to not share information with
Yeah,
everyone on the
it was
board?
not delivered.
So
If it was delivered, I wouldn't have called Jeff. You know what I mean? That was like,
So you're upset that you weren't notified, Mr. Goodall?
just like you get upset when you don't get every email. We have an employee that
Well,
we're gonna
that's
go
a,
down
that's
and
a,
discuss.
that's a
No, I'm
different,
talking now.
that's a different issue.
We're gonna go downstairs in executive, Shirley, and discuss an employee's future or whatever you call it, and
And you didn't know about it?
yeah.
Okay. Well,
So my
maybe-
question was
maybe-
I
maybe-
excluded accidentally, intentionally, or was Mr. Steve
Well,
told?
I can speak for the
Is
entire
Mr. Steve
board.
told to not tell me?
I can speak for the entire board.
Can
that
you?
No one, yeah, that no one's going to exclude anyone on this board, and to
Hmm.
the fact that if you were not informed of that, that was an unfortunate oversight. I believe what Mr. Steve may be referring to is, I also chose not to disturb Miss Fix upon my learning of the incident, because she was vacationing. So if that's what he says, I think maybe we ought to take the man at his word. No one's excluding anybody else. And we can go into that further at an executive session if you'd like.
Were you on vacation last week or
Yeah,
this week? Last week.
into this week. I just got back.
Do you feel you should have known vacation or not? Not putting you on the spot, just
I probably wouldn't have wanted to
Okay.
know on
Okay.
Friday on my vacation.
but
But he did brief me
yesterday.
yesterday that the incident occurred.
Well, I think it shows the dysfunction perhaps of functioning on this board, and we need to get, better at that. So no one's trying to exclude anybody else. Having said that, I'd like to move on here to,
Well,
if we're off the personnel, we're off the signs. Are you done, Mr. Redding?
I am.
well, while we're on that topic of personnel, a neighboring municipality was in the other day, and they have a worker who's a very good worker. They don't have work for him anymore, and they recommended him for position. The issue we have is he does not have a CDL. And, they have in the past hired the people without a CDL, made them contractually obligate themselves for so many years, and they paid for them to go to CDL class. And his rationale was, most of the guys you get with CDLs are used to just sitting in the truck, not working. This guy's used to working, so sitting in the truck would be an option for him. So I have no one way or the other, but I just want to make everybody aware that, you
I
know,
will pass that information on and, you know, maybe some of the particulars, we are looking for a couple of people. So maybe that'll be, you know, a good find. Is that it, Mr. Steve and Mr. Redding?
Yes.
All right, on the park and recreation, you're gonna see my name, my initials splattered over that. The celebration day, we have no one here from the Parks and Rec Commission, is that correct? The celebration day, I'm tentatively evaluating July 4th. I said I would spearhead that, July 5th weekend or whatever. And I'll firm up those dates and some of the activities moving forward. I did run into, or actually at the workshop meeting, there was a Park and Rec fellow here, and you seem to think it is really gonna be, you know, a good idea. So in conjunction with our, you know, perhaps 250th anniversary of our country and the fact that I think we need to get things moving, you know, we'll do that. That kind of slips into item on the Park and Rec B, the cleanup. I did speak briefly to Barry. One of the things that's happened in the past is we've had a scout cleanup, but it comes after or too late in the season when, you know, the sticks were ready to start to mow, it's too late. I have worked and approached a newly appointed member of our EAC, Mr. Weld, who has some connections, or who's willing to spearhead some of the scouting, make some calls, etc. So we'll coordinate a date for that and or dates. The sycamore trees that you see on the playground were planted years and years ago, and you can see they're starting to go. We lost one last year, and some limbs, and it's just natural. On item C, use of facilities, I want to open up, and I'd like to discuss opening up the use of the fields here to baseball. We've had a long-standing relationship. However, I don't think, in my opinion, that's in the overall best interest not to evaluate other options. We have people who, I think, township organizations that need, you know, that need the facilities. So we have not committed to them, have we yet, Paul? Okay, so we want to alert them, they've been here before and making a presentation, but we want to alert them that that may not be etched in stone. And I can do that, I can make that call. But Paul, I'd like you to, I hate to ask you to remind me, I'm gonna make myself a note, but when we're in the office talking about a couple of other items, just remind me and I'll make a note. You may all recall that we spent some decent money, you know, refurbishing those facilities. I'll be anxious to do a little inspection of them here shortly. That's the facilities here at the township. You're gonna note that their reorganization meeting is February 23rd. That's one reason why I've tried to get a little bit of a jump start on some of these ideas. Nothing is etched in stone, but to kind of get the ball rolling, that's why I did that. Now, with respect to the Plowville Capital Improvements Program, there was I guess a program that they're trying to do with upgrading the field, and they're looking at $15,350 a need for chain link backstop, and they've gone without for a number of years. I believe there's going to be a capital improvement projects, as I mentioned, and I believe that we have what I'll refer to loosely as fee in lieu of money. So there is money in our budget for that. There is money in our budget for that. So I'd like to see that, you know, maybe approved at the next meeting. Give us some time to think about that, unless somebody wants to make a motion now.
I mean, the only, I've done a big baseball player, so I don't know. But, you know, if you're gonna be playing baseball at a chain link fence, it almost seems like you want to have the vinyl coated.
Oh, no, I can ask them about that, but.
There's a couple bucks more, but
Does anybody fundamentally have a problem with that? Mr. Rhodes?
No.
Mr. Goulart? Nope. All right, well then, what I'd like to do is I'd like to make a motion that upon review, further review of the balance of the fee in lieu of accounts, that we fund that project not to exceed that bid. That's $15,350. But again, that's pending a review of the fee in lieu of accounts. For those of you who are not knowledgeable on that concept, when a builder, developer, landowner, if you will, sometimes creates extra lots, they are required to contribute pursuant to our ordinances of a certain monetary fund. That fund has gone up over the years, but I don't think we as a board have managed those funds very well. When I say managed them, I mean, put them maybe as good a use as possible. So there are requirements, and the interesting or the problem with the requirements are we've lost track of, I'm gonna say, some of the information that we should. Specifically, some of those funds are in there so long that we don't necessarily know their origin, if that's the proper way to describe it. That leads us into a problem with fulfilling certain obligations we have to notify that person, the contributor of those funds, has a right to know where his or her money went. And that presents an interesting dilemma. However, I'm committed to dealing with what dilemmas we have to do.
Do we know what the current balance is in those accounts?
Last I checked, I thought it was over 60,000, but I'm gonna do a complete review of that. So my motion is pending that review of appropriate funds for that designated area, that we fund that amount. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion further on that? If not, I'm gonna call roll to vote. Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. Gillo?
Yes.
Ms. Fix?
Yes.
Mr. Steve?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. I'm sure the people of Plowville, the players, the boys, girls, I'm sure they're gonna be appreciated that they know some money's coming on the way.
While we're on Park and Rec, somebody sent in, probably, I'm guessing at least Easter Day, sent in a proposal for installing gutters on the pavilion up there at the park. I'll be honest with you, I can't really make heads or tails out of what they want to do here.
Can I see that, Harold?
Absolutely.
When did this come in?
I think it came in earlier today or yesterday.
One thing's, I'm sorry, Paul,
That was passed at December's workshop. That's the code.
this was in December's workshop,
The motion passed to allow that, not given today.
so we've already approved this.
Well, you can't approve it because we don't know how much it is. According to that, what's gonna be due is a plus.
All right, well,
Could you approve like up to a certain amount?
I think.
Well, there's three different amounts on that form, and I'm not sure which one of those or all of them they're looking for. I mean, maybe somebody else can make heads or tails of it, but
Then the bottom
it
total
just
says
kinda
a
looks like
dollar.
there's three options there, or there's, like I said, I mean, I've never seen a proposal where your amount due is $1.
okay, well, we've approved the
Although
concept.
I would definitely take that proposal.
We've
but
approved the
I think that's gonna work
concept.
out.
We're gonna get some gutters on here at some point, once we get it straightened out. I'll take the lead with that as well.
Yeah,
It
it's a
does
dollar,
show a
yeah.
dollar.
Oh, they're wiping all the costs down.
If it's okay, I'll move on to municipal authority. We basically covered the two positions already. And we talked about the lease negotiations. With respect to the EAC, I don't see anything, although I do see in attendance Mr. Horst.
Yes.
Is there anything you would like to add on behalf of the EAC that you haven't?
Well, I got an email from, it's just saying about that the go to the planning commission.
Okay, that's the email I think we all
Yeah.
received, and,
Yeah.
yeah, so we all got that
The
email.
ordinance going to the planning commission, that's the other thing I
Yeah.
have.
Well, as I said, that's a required procedure, if you will, and I think our planning commission is and will be in tune with, you know, what's happening. Anything else, Mr. Horst?
No.
All right. With respect to new business, one of the things that I think we've been derelict on as a board in recent years have been employee evaluations. And perhaps it's even worse than that when I asked and inquired where our personnel files are. And everybody's heard me say over the last several years that, frankly speaking, it's a mess. And we're going to straighten that out slowly. However, I'm going to take the rare opportunity to do an evaluation right here in public. This is my evaluation as your chair, and my observations, not a board, and that has to do with Paula. I believe, and I have been increasingly observant, that she shows up regularly, on time, prepared, and in my opinion does, you know, a Herculean job under some difficult circumstances. She has no direct boss in terms of a formal manager. We may talk about that a little later. But she is helping to hold down the fort, and I would like the members of the public, our professional team, to understand and recognize that everyone's doing, you know, the best that they can. So we asked patience, and I indicate in terms of the, well, by the way, you're not getting out of a formal evaluation, Paula, but that's my public evaluation, you know, where I guess it's fair to call you a workaholic, an energizer. Were you always that way, if I can ask?
Always.
You know, somehow I suspected that. I don't know if it's the Irish or whatever. Somehow I suspected that. So we all know as a board, those of us who are informed all know, you know, that you're doing the very best you can in a polite, professional manner, which, you know, has been noted by township residents. You open that door and there's no one at the front desk. She pops out of her seat and greets you with a smile. And that's a good way to start stuff. That was not always the case at this township, in my opinion.
Thank you, Paula.
So enough. You're not crying, are you?
No.
Please. All right.
So,
All right.
Tim, related to employee evaluations, right, typically done by a manager, right?
Well,
So, where are we at with the job postings?
okay. Well,
Because we made a motion to
Yeah.
advertise.
well, Mr. Rhodes brings up a good question as it relates to our manager and where we're at. And when you say posting,
Yes.
one thing we can do is we can put that on our website, and when I say that, I'm talking about our I'm gonna say job descriptions, or maybe request for proposals, if you will. And I have some stuff with me that we can certainly talk about, or certainly put on. So as it relates to the township manager, I think we could put this on tomorrow, if possible.
So it's not been posted anywhere to this point.
So in terms of posting, I'm not sure exactly what you mean by
Made
Like
that.
advertise like we
But-
typically do.
right,
like,
right.
is what
The
I'm-
website, the
Right.
newspaper.
No, I don't know that it's been formally advertised since the last time. And by way of a brief review of our management situation, I hold the opinion that that's a key position. And I've been on this board previously in the early 2000s, and I make the statement that we have not had what I consider a properly functioning manager since that time, with an exception or two for a brief period. we are all essentially the five of us are elected officials or volunteers. And we need a paid person. So this is what I'd post if there's no,
By post, what? you
we'll put
asked
it on the
me.
website. We've also, when I say by way of update, we've also had interviews, we've made offers, we've, we've had one person actually withdraw from consideration. Hopefully, I'd like to say he found a better job, but that's not my suspicions. So along with that, we also have the chief of police situation, and we can post that as well. We have here. Is there two there?
Thank you.
And we can kind of move those two things forward. So as soon as we can get that on, now let's talk about the website for a while. Early at this meeting, we started out, and I asked Ms. Fix, not based on her age, I'm not saying that she's the youngest member of the board here, but I think she's pretty well versed at that, and I asked her to, get a little bit grip on that website. One of the problems we have is there are times when, we're not sure if the fellow putting the stuff on there is available, and, there's some concern. So I asked Ms. Fix to kind of check into that and more or less get back to me. And now that her vacation's over, I'm gonna snap the whip, see if she will get on that, because, I think we do wanna look as best we can and get out all the information.
As soon as we can.
Say that again?
As soon as we can.
As soon as we can. So, having said that, good job, Paula. Police interviews on the way, or police information on the way. Hopefully, manager will come forward. But this is key. People, this is absolutely critical. And that's the way it is. So we're gonna hopefully, work on that. New business, EAC concluded. With respect to old business, pretty soon, we'll be getting into perhaps people, I don't wanna call it a burn season, but this is another issue where we don't wanna wait till we have a drought, and we don't wanna wait till we have a problem. So I hope by next meeting I can resurrect, that ordinance is been somewhat, discussed, but no action was taken, and we're gonna talk about that further. The codification we discussed, Mr. Rhodes and Mr. Steve are gonna work on that. I'll certainly, look in on that process. The drug drop, I'm not able to pinpoint the exact grant on that, but the concept was at the police station to have an area where someone can drop their medicines or drop stuff that they shouldn't have, anonymously, if you will. And I'm told it works pretty well. There would also be an area perhaps either at the Township building or here at the police where we could have proper retirement of our American flags. If anybody knows out there of an old mailbox, that was the concept and the design I had seen. Remember the old big mailboxes? If anybody has one, I've been watching Facebook Marketplace. Not a big fan of Facebook per se, but it seems like one's there and it disappears. If anybody sees any or has any and willing to donate or loan the township, that would be appreciated. I see, last but not least, the statements of financial interest. I don't want to gloss over the data center, but we've already discussed that a couple of times. Statements of financial interest. We all have to fill those out. On that note, if this board does not have anything else to discuss, I do expect the executive session to take a little time. I don't want to rule out taking any other actions, but I don't know of any, based on the fact that There is heat in the garage. We're gonna retire to the garage. This room stays open. You can enjoy the comfort of the seats. Understand the YouTube channel continues to play. So you can be recorded and you can be broadcast, even though we're not in the room. Under those circumstances, we're going to go. You're not needed anymore.
Thank you, sir.
I don't mean that rudely, by the way. You are much needed, Mr. Marola. So excuse us, we'll go into executive session.
Yes.
Can I take this, or?
Yeah, no, go ahead. I don't know that we have a place for something like that. You know, I've not seen it.
That email that you saw with the contracts was Shane sending them out. So as soon as we get them back signed with the contractor, I'm gonna get Rick not to sign, and then I'll get them.
Long haul. We try and be more efficient. When we could, we all agree, we don't need any further information. Get new stuff off the agenda.
We haven't been through this yet, so.
Count your blessings and you have it.
And we didn't ever vote at all. I wouldn't say get rid of the easy stuff, do the easy one more first.
He's like a 40-year-old man. He is. It's just how he is.
My limited dealings with him, he seems like a good guy. I told my wife, I said,
Oh, he won't if he gets in trouble. That's why I was out.
Yeah.
It hit me so hard. I mean, it was like. And I'm trying to stay away from her because of chemo.
Yeah.
So it's.
At some point, depending what happens this weekend, we gotta get together and look
Oh, snow this weekend again? No kidding.
I hope not.
I do.
Burn on the snow.
I'm ready for spring.
It's one more chance to get complaints. One last hurrah.
You know what the problem is? It's now the snow's starting to go away, and now we're into mud season.
Don't even talk about that.
Dogs, kids, people off our driveway.
You should see my guy.
I can only imagine.
Listen, mud season has my township husband still at work 7 hours after he got done today, so bring it on.
It's just a mess. Dry out, ready for spring.
What kind of vacations off last
See you guys.
See ya.
Alright, I'm sorry if you sent that, I don't know again.
I don't even, you know how this week has been. Maybe other thing they could send, I don't know.
And also something for them, for that KC, I thought it was an invoice.
No, Casey was the sign.
Maybe it wasn't. I saw something, maybe.
I'll send it to him through the supervisor deal.
23 firearms.
Yes.
It was just,
Wasn't it a workshop?
The gentleman was from Pottsville. His father has something to do with an auction house that built
we'll
firearms.
find it. Well, I know where,
Just like that resolution, that was the same thing, 100%.
Says that he
I don't know if
has
the
these
same.
countries on his
all
list.
good.
So how could you use the most of this?
Well, the son comes in a souped up Mustang.
I'm still going over into the picture shop.
Yesterday.
Like, there's that old saying, you know, in the back storage room as well for Robeson
And this is before
Township, place that,
the
I
computer
think
did
that'd
film.
be awesome up on the wall there.
And the lady says, does
So
he have
like
a
an
bell?
old
Much
vintage
as
saying,
the
you know,
carriage.
the seems the one at Gibraltar, the
Mhm.
red
Have
and
a
the
gas
green and the
get
gold,
to Pottsville.
correct?
She gave me her number.
So the township, my husband works
Go to
for,
Pottsville, bring it back.
the police building is, or union building is kind of set up like this, where it's like, the police and then they have their big conference room and downstairs, and like in the back is in their garage. And they have, they have like a long hall like this,
Right.
and they have
all their historic pictures and like a timeline and stuff, so that's not all that it's really neat to go and look at. Yeah, you could do it like date timeline with like long haul like that too.
I told him, I said, okay, I run it, he's denied.
I don't know how they got that set.
He goes outside the door, and my phone rings, it's his dad. You need to give him those guns right now.
Yeah. And then he took me on a tour. He saw a picture of this and I'm like,
I said, your son's a total pain.
I wasn't paying that close of attention.
I said, he's not getting anything until
They
he's
generally have trees down or something, and a culvert washed out, and then there was a diesel spill in their township yesterday that they're
no
cleaning
sooner
up.
than that
I'm like,
happens. John,
so we'll see you like on Saturday? That,
Is
is it close by? Like if it was it's Douglas Township Parks, so it's like the other side of Douglasville.
he was driving a 69 Roadrunner all suits up, all tattooed up, all that. He says, let me look 4473.
This part is the part that has more cows than cattle. That's a good part. That's what it is, isn't it? That's their
I'll get
big
back
thing.
to you.
I'm like, I don't care what the township's claim to do, as long as your patient's not cows, you don't care.
He says, I'm gonna have some people come to
Usually Bunsen Barry, if you get any more Sunday snow showers.
They get snow every Sunday.
They'll do rubber ball checks. It's dropped down, I mean, because it was supposed to be like 5 to 7, wasn't it, on Sunday, and then like 3 to 5 on Monday, but it's dropped to like 1 yesterday, like a night shift, 2
Now it
shift,
went back
and then
up.
this morning it was like 3 to 5 again.
Good.
So, they're not gonna know until like the day before or whatever.
I hope it snows 3 feet.
I know, right?
give us a call.
Get to play with your plow.
Because he signed on the form, he signed on their license, he signed off on their license, and he can't do that.
Yeah, Chris, I haven't had a weekend
Yeah,
off
running
since
guns.
like, what has it been like before Christmas?
State college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's always like, I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna work again. I'm like, can I?
I get the phone call, he's once.
My dad worked for PennDOT for 25 years. I know what it's all about. Just go.
Yeah.
Take your coffee and your snackies.
Well,
See you when I see you.
you're about 42 years too late. I said, prior to
This
1986,
is what we were talking about today though. Cause they went in,
fill out a form
I
for.
think it was like 4:30, like 9:30, Sunday night, and then he got home at like 5 o'clock Monday morning. And he was
What are you
like,
gonna do
it's
if
my
this
day
is an
off.
AR-15? Are you gonna drill a hole for daughters?
I was like,
Get a machine out there, see where you just.
you can
gonna
spend your day
drop
off
it
sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, at home with the kids, good luck.
Sending you $200 and they would send you your go-ahead letter, which would be your form
You didn't have that luxury, buy a day off. You guys weren't off on Monday?
I said, it was illegal to
No.
work.
No, so
They
That
did
was-
all the little holidays.
that was a while
How
ago.
about if I just hang up this phone and forget?
We got rid of that just because it always happens to snow. And then of course it's
None of your business.
double time. So I think we swapped that out for Good Friday.
Yeah, we can do Friday. They get so many holidays. I'm like, are you serious? Right? Like, he gets days the kids don't even have off school. I'm like, why? You know,
Kind of situation.
and then they get all the election days off because they vote in their, they set up the voting
Yeah.
things in their garage. They have good vacation time and all that, personal days too, over the weekend. Yeah. I don't know how many he's allowed to, he has 5 weeks of vacation. He's been like, he just hit 10 years in December though. And then. You gotta know else, what is it? 15 years at Barnes, you get 5 weeks? No, 25.
A kid comes in, it's not.
It's 15.
15, I think it is now.
No.
Yeah, but they're not used to 24/7, so.
So I can't do background check. Why not?
And then they get like,
Oh, pop up.
the weekends that he's on call, they get comp time for
Okay.
and stuff, so.
Clinton didn't tell you.
I don't know, he gets a lot of time off.
Says, I'm gonna call
And
you.
then I'm like, I guess there's take that time unpaid to go, I don't know. Or, I mean, he takes the day off and then he probably, is it nice to have all your times off? Okay.
If I were you,
enjoy them, go work along with them, we did the same thing.
So I thought about it before we got married. I thought about, because they were looking for an assistant, because their township only has a manager and assistant in the office, that's all they have. And they were looking for that assistant, and I sent my resume in, and the lady emailed me, she's like, don't act like we don't know where this girlfriend. I'm like, it's fine, never mind.
They discourage that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of places are like that.
But I mean, with only, they have 3 road guys and the 2 office people. And I forget, I think they only have like 7 cops right now. Right. That's it, that's the whole township. I don't know how they do it, and I don't know how they get everything done with just, it's a full-time and a part-time person. I don't know how they get it all done.
You know, like, contract a lot. Even athletics though, you know, it's okay.
I don't know, she asked me, if my daughter got the license, I would tell Tim, like, if it's 7 o'clock in the morning, we get Lexi to school on some days, you're already there, and I'm like, and then like, we go out for dinner, and we get home at 8 o'clock, and Paula's still at work. He's like, oh, she's just getting
Try to get ahead, just,
I would never. There's nothing at this point in life that would make me work a 12-hour day ever again. It's not my deal in life.
so they.
5 o'clock, I get the poor run, and I want to go home. And after she got her license, though, I get to sleep in the morning. So if you see the silver neon flying down the road, that's not you. So last week was the first week that she got her first off to school. It was the first week she had the license to now. And so Tuesday this week was her first day driving her car to school. And she told me, she's like, your car won't start? And I was like, what do you mean your car won't start? Because we just put like $2,000 or $3,000 of rock on that car before we gave it to her. She's like, yeah, I think I left my headlights on this morning. And I'm like, why did you have your headlights on? It was light out when you left for school. She's like, well, I have my running lights on because I like how they look. And it was like, oh, you have to turn them off. She's like, well, the car was doing a lot of dinging when I went to get out of it. And I got a little flustered. It was like, it was dinging because your lights were on. So then I have to leave her to go back over the car to start her car. She's like, huh, you should really buy me one of those. I'm like, this is for you. I just have to teach you how to use it. Like, I'm like teaching you how to use it in an emergency situation. I'm going to teach you at home how it works. And then it's your responsibility to make sure it's charged and turn your headlights off. So then Wednesday, I get a text from her at like 8 o'clock. School starts at 7:30. Why are you not at school yet? She's like, I'm a little bit late for school. I was coming up Gowrie Road. I hit somebody. And I was like, oh my God. And it was like, okay, call me right now. And she goes to me and was like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm walking for a second out of school. I'm like, why didn't you like call me? And she's like, it was either get stuck in the snow or possibly hit somebody. And she's like, and like the only damage to his big Jeep was that his rim is scratched. And I'm like, what's wrong with your car? And she's like, there's no damage to my car. And I was like, okay. So when I got done work, she had indoor percussion or whatever, so she was still at school when I got done work. And I went over and was like, your bumper and your headlight are cracked. What do you mean there's no damage to your car? She's like, no, I think they were like that before. I'm like, I think they weren't like that because we just put those headlights on your car right before Christmas. Seriously? And then the guy calls me. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to do anything about it. She said it was her second day driving. I was like, yeah. I said, she's literally had her license for a week. It was only her second day driving to school. And then I think that was like her wake up call because the rest of the week she was fine. So.
At least if that's full, that doesn't happen. That's full for a plan.
Yeah.
Cause you yourself, maybe you get a new car or something. You always get a ding or something happens or.
My ex-husband's like, okay, we bought her. It's like $2,000. I'm like, she's gonna total it anyway. So in 1996, my first car was an '88 Plymouth Reliant, it cost me $400. I didn't total it, but still. She's 16, she doesn't need a Maserati. She needs something to get her back and forth to school, so I don't have to get up early in the morning, and I don't have to stay up till 10 o'clock at night to pick her up from New York. Like,
Was the test like showing at me, like, I think it's like 80% or something,
Yeah.
over the first one?
yeah, and every one of her friends, whose parents bought them like a new car, like a payments car, has totaled their car. And I said to her, I was like, I'm not doing that. And like, we totally surprised her with it. She thought, so when my husband wrecked his truck, his brother has like a Jetta. That's like the beater car of the family. Whenever someone needs a car, we all use the Jetta. And she thought for the longest time, she's like, I don't want the Jetta. I don't want that Jetta. I don't want it. I was like, it's fine. So I kept hinting to her because she wanted a Jeep like I have. And I'm like, you're not getting a Jeep. You don't have a job. You can't afford gas for a Jeep. I can't afford gas for another Jeep. You're not getting a Jeep. So then like, I kept saying to her around Christmas, I was like, so like, if you were to get a car, are you okay if it's just a car? And she thought for sure we got her a Jetta. And at Christmas, I wrapped her keys up and I gave them to her for Christmas. Then we hid the car in my mom and dad's garage because we were there for Christmas. And she walked out in the garage. She's like, oh my God, it's not the Jetta. And I was like, it is not the Jetta. It is 24 years old though, so it's got, it only has like 100,000 miles on it. It's got less miles on it than my Jeep does. It runs absolutely fine, but like it needed, you know,
Yeah.
24-year-old car
Good
stuff.
enough, yeah.
And like it needed tires, and it definitely needs the inside like shampooed. But I told her, I said, you know, when the weather breaks, I'll help you
Yes.
clean the inside of it out. So she doesn't do that stuff now.
Yeah, she's happy she's her own side of weights.
And I said to her, I was like, this is why I pushed you to get your license. I said, because I remember being 16. I lived in New York. There was no public transportation. There's no sidewalks to walk anywhere. And all of your friends live like on the other side of the school district. Like, and being over here, all her friends go to Dana Boone. So being over here, her friends don't want to drive all the way over here to see her. And I said to her, I was like, it gives you your freedom. I said, and then if you want to go to Target with your friend, you call me and you go, hey, me and Mia are running to Target. And then you get in your car and you go. And 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to say no to you unless there is like plans or we need you to babysit or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, just go. So, she's enjoying it.
Yeah, get some of your own domain, like your own schedule, because it's only there, that's.
So, and I told her, I was like, don't get it twisted. If you screw up or your grades suffer, I said, that car's in my name. So, it will be my car. Like, we spend a lot of money on AP and honors classes for her because she's smart enough for them. So, my husband is still not he's not gonna do it. AP this year was $140 a class. So the testing, you pay for the test every week. Yeah, the AP doesn't have that money.
But at the same time, I was not comfortable, so it's a good thing, you know what I'm saying, well,
Yeah, and she's in all honors and AP classes.
right, that's good too.
Yeah. And then she's in, oh my God, she does marching band, she does wind ensemble, she does jazz band. So right now she's in the middle of jazz band and indoor percussion seasons. So Fridays she has jazz competitions, Saturdays she has indoor percussion competitions. So she has band pretty much every day of the week, except Sunday.
So you have to drive her to all that stuff, so
It's
that's
exhausting.
yeah.
It's exhausting. And indoor at night is Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if I was here, and the next thing my husband like, I need you to stay awake and pick her up. And I have to come here fall asleep. And then I'm like, can you go to somebody's house and I'll pick you up after the meeting? So,
Yeah, I've gone on a bit longer this past weddings and things.
yeah. Which is fine. Not doing anything on Thursdays. I do like having them on Thursdays though.
Yeah, I like that too, cause it gives you enough time
I see it. Mhm.
Do you have like, do you have like private emails that Tom using for that situation? What's that? Do you think a private email, or do you guys also use to, with more?
No, I keep everything under the township email, that
Yeah.
calls
Hold
township.
down.
We can all share and
There's a reason I did
we'll
that.
figure it out.
All right, we're back in session at 9:20-ish. And I'll ask if there are any motions as it relates to the personnel matter. Maybe I'll ask a second time. Make sure everybody's back and situated. Is there any motions related to the personnel matter we talked about?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we terminate based on the employee's previous record as well as the latest infringements.
I will second that motion.
All those in favor by roll call vote, Mr. Rhodes,
Yes.
Mr. Gillo.
Yes.
I was gonna say, you don't have a name, you gotta.
Oh,
Do we have to give a name?
Okay.
Yeah, your-
Ri-
yeah.
Richard Fizz.
Still the same second, Mr. Gillo.
Yes.
Mr. Rhodes,
Yes.
Mr. Gullo.
Yes.
Ms. Fix,
Yes.
Mr. Steve,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. On an unrelated matter, I'll make a motion that we send an enforcement letter with respect to the Breitenstein matter. Do you understand, Mr. Morol, what that entails? You've reviewed that agreement?
I have it, yes.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Mr. Rhodes,
No.
Mr. Gullo,
No.
Ms. Fix,
Yes.
Mr. Steve,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. Is there any other business before this board? If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
All those in favor? Aye.
What time is it?
9:25.